it's not normal for you to just like see it as like, oh, it's just one of those things, especially when it's frequent.
Exactly.
You need to find out why. You need to find the reason. Even if people are not like just saying, oh, just I'm just leaving, you need to actually find the reason, because it's not normal. Like, because especially like if you are comfortable somewhere, like people will want to stay and just be like getting what they are doing and just getting their work done. But if people are just leaving, and you're just there just reporting the number, okay, this is the number of people that resigned this month, oh, this is the number of people that resigned this month, and you're not looking at it in depth, like, okay, what exactly is the issue? Why are people just going in numbers? Then you need to check yourself. You need to do something about it.
Welcome to the Expat Explorer, where we discuss everything employment, the facts, the myth, and everything in between.
That's
right. I'm Mide.
And I'm Aisha.
So in today's episode, we're going to be discussing a couple of things. But before we even start, we would like you to go and watch our previous episodes on recruitment, and even the one we just posted recently on exit management, where we talked about what the labor law says about exits in the workspace. Today, we're going to continue our series on exit management, and our top hot topic, the topic on the burner for today, is why people leave their places of employment, and why this topic is actually very important for us to discuss.
Yeah. I can't wait for us to dive into it and just give all our nuggets.
Yeah, so Aisha, today's topic is about employee turnover.
Yeah.
And obviously, so many people have been throwing the word employee turnover around. Yeah, it's very important for us to talk about what employee turnover really means.
Yeah.
Employee turnover is in basic terms, is when an employee exits their place of employment. Yeah. And it could be due to several reasons. It could be due to, death. It could be due to retirement. It could be due to dissatisfaction, of their place of employment. It could be due to work culture, toxic bosses. So many reasons that could result to an employee actually leaving their place of employment or leaving their job.
Yes.
And one thing employers actually miss is that employee turnover is not just about people leaving. It's also about you losing your best hands, losing the best talent within your workspace. So it's something that is it's an important topic, something we really need to focus on.
Yes.
I also would, prefer that we get to talk about a situation whereby you get to a place of employment, or let me just throw this to you.
Okay.
Imagine resuming at your place of employment or in your place of employment, and all of a sudden the next day about 6 people just tender their resignation. What would be your reaction?
First off, my reaction would be scared. That would be the fear. Like, okay, why is everybody leaving?
Of course.
Obviously, like you subconsciously start thinking of an exit to like, okay, how do I get out of here? Why is everybody leaving? Because it's not just one person, it's not 2 people, 6 people in one day. No, that's not normal. That's a red flag. So that's something like. And I'm sure you're wondering that, okay, why are we talking about turnover and why is it important that we're talking about it? It's actually very important because most employers, they don't pay attention to how the implication the impact of turnover on their business or on the company. So when people leave, when you have like a high turnover, it's not just like, oh, people are just leaving, people are just resigning or based on vibes. It's emotion. It has impact on you, like emotionally and financially as an organization. So the financial cost of turnover is actually is a lot, because you're not only losing an employee, you're not only losing one person or losing an employee, you're losing the cost for hiring that person, cost of onboarding, training.
You can say
that. You're losing a lot. So if you look at it from that point of, from the financial aspect of it, you see that to even lose an employee is even higher than the cost of keeping them. Because not only are you losing all the costs that you used to bring that person in, now you need to look for another cost to bring another person in. now train again. It's a whole lot of like back and forth, and it's something that employers need to pay attention to a lot. It's something that you need to take note of. And also, apart from like the financial cost of employee turnover, the impact on the team morale, it's limitless. Like, you don't know, like the question that you just asked me now, when an employee gets into a new place, and you see that, oh, every week three people are resigning, every week people are leaving, just like, oh, upping and going, it affects the team morale. Like, because you yourself, like, you start thinking about like, oh, what's wrong, why is everybody leaving? Even if you don't have it in your own mind to leave, the fact that everybody is going, and because everybody's just upping and leaving, you start thinking about like, oh, what am I now doing here? Everybody's leaving, what am I not seeing? Means I don't want to see it, so let me just go, let me just follow everybody and be going. So the impact it has on team morale too, is a very big impact that it has on your team.
How do you feel when people exit your place of employment? So, like we rightly said, exit could be as a result of people resigning. It could also be as a result of someone dying.
Yes.
Of course, everybody expects everyone to retire at some point. So
yes.
that can also be emotional. But as a HR person, there are some voluntary resignations and there are some involuntary resignations. For the voluntary resignation, such as people tendering their resignation letter, how do you feel when you consistently see people that you've built a bond with over time, now telling you that they need to move on to something else?
I'm not going to lie to you, like, coming from the HR perspective, like being the HR and people tendering their resignation. When I first started like my career in HR, let me not lie to you, the first resignation I ever experienced, like maybe a team member that resigned, I almost cried because I was like, okay, what am I doing? Why are you leaving me? Why are you abandoning me? So it has like physical and mental or psychological effects on you as a HR manager. Because physical, because you need to like start thinking of like, okay, replacement and training. It's not just like, oh, you're going to hire someone and just bring them in. You need to train them. Maybe the person that is leaving now has reached a certain level of experience in that role. You need to bring somebody in that can match that experience or even go higher. Like, so is that physical stress alone is very draining. When you just see a resignation, you don't even think of like, oh my god, this person. What you think about is like, oh my god, I need to replace this person. I need to start moving up and down. Then the psychological effects, like, okay, what is it? Is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that I'm not doing? Is it something that is wrong with the company? Is it something that we need to think about? Is it a management issue? Is it a culture issue? The psychological effects is a lot too. It's draining. It can be very devastating.
And I don't understand how some HR people do not even flinch. You see someone you see a couple of persons resigning from your team and you are not even bothered. You just see it as a number.
Yes.
To report over time. Like, it just becomes so mechanical about it.
It's not normal for you to just like see it as like, oh, it's just one of those things, especially when it's frequent.
Exactly.
You need to find out why. You need to find the reason. Even if people are not like just saying, oh, I'm just leaving, you need to actually find the reason, because it's not normal. Like, because especially like if you are comfortable somewhere, like people will want to stay and just be like getting what they are doing and just getting their work done. But if people are just leaving, and you're just there just reporting the number, okay, this is the number of people that resigned this month, oh, this is the number of people that resigned this month, and you're not looking at it in depth, like, okay, what exactly is the issue? Why are people just going in numbers? Then you need to check yourself. You need to do something about it. Absolutely. You can't just be quiet at all.
Yeah.
You can't be quiet.
Of course, when people leave, there's always an impact on the culture of the firm.
Yeah.
Yes. Personally, when I see people resign consistently, it also, there's this silent urge or nudge, right, that it gives me and makes me realize that, oh, these people are moving on to the next stage or the next stages of their life. So it kind of prompts me to say, oh, maybe I need to also step up my game a little bit. And it's even worse, especially if you are a human resource manager and you keep on asking people questions at the point of exiting, and they tell you, oh, I'm hopping onto a new job, and you ask about the new pay, or you do like an exit chat, and during the course of that chat you realize that the person is going to be getting something even more than what you're
getting. I'm like, okay, so what am I doing here? Let me pack my things and start
exploring other opportunities. So these are the realities. However, it is also important that you get to measure, your turnover rate, even as an employee and as an employer. And the way to measure your turnover rate in an employment is, you first of all have to know the number of people that have exited within that time frame you want to assess.
Okay.
For instance, if you are trying to measure the number of people that have exited your organization in 2025, today's date, right? You need to know how many people have exited. If you have 10 people that have exited, then you need to divide that number by the average number of people that have been in your employment up until date, from the beginning of the year to this point. So for instance, if you started this year with 100 staff, and in between you've had exits, as of today, if you calculate the number of people you have and it's about 120, you're supposed to add up the 100, that's the 100 counts you had at the beginning of the year with the current number of staff you have,
which is 120.
So if you add it up, of course it's going to give you 220, then you divide it by 2. Whatever that gives you, you have to divide the number of people that have exited by that number and multiply it by 100. That would now give you the exact number of people that have exited your firm, the rate of people that have exited your firm over a period of time, over that period at which you're trying to assess. So again, it is important that people pay attention to the rates of attrition.
Very.
As much as there is no written rule that this percentage is a red flag for organizations to start microscoping or to put a spotlight on, to say we're not doing well, what is really going on. There is no number that will make an organization that should make an organization panic in the books of HR at the moment. But ideally, if you start hitting 10% at this point, that we've not even gotten to half of the year, then you need to start investigating what exactly is going on within your workspace. But I think a good number could be 2% or 3%. 2% is a very healthy portfolio. Exactly.
Because obviously people leave for different reasons, and it doesn't necessarily mean because the company is it's not good. So
I'm holding myself back. I remember
don't hold back, tell us. Tell us now.
I remember in 2020 versus 2021, there was a huge Japa syndrome going on in Nigeria and Africa at large.
My dear.
The reason is because, as at that time, people were just coming out of COVID. Persons were already used to remote styles of working. And then they could now explore other opportunities. Opportunities
that paid more.
I mean, I remember then countries in the European continent, right? They were very much open to bringing on board medical practitioners and tech experts. They were sponsoring those persons to come to their country with their families.
Attractive packages, okay, I don't even stand a chance.
I'm telling you. So, but things have changed. The dynamics of work have changed. Most people are no longer bringing expats or people outside of their region to come to their country to come and operate in their workspace. However, that was a very huge impact on attrition at that time. One thing an HR person should also look out for is the demography of your staff. Because if you're in a in an environment that has a large workforce, right? It simply means that over time you have a huge number of persons that were maybe baby boomers
Yes.
And probably
They are approaching retirement. And
yeah, exactly. They're approaching the retirement age,
Yes.
and very soon you start experiencing them exiting due to retirement.
Yes.
And there is also the part of global opportunities.
Yeah.
People would exit because they all our currency is not helping matters. Everyone I get to speak to today, it's actually a topic for another day, but the reality is everyone that I speak to today is thinking about earning in any cold currency they can get their hands on. So it is also hampering it's also hampering or affecting the exit volume within different organizations. Because I'm actually speaking from Nigeria. We are speaking from Nigeria,
yes,
and we understand how the economy has been over time. So it is very important for HR to pay attention to some of these intricacies.
So it's not just like generalizing. You should look at the environmental factors as well, like what's going on around you, what's going on in the country in general. It's not just like always the company, but always the organization. So, but you need to also. It's just basic. We're just trying to say that you shouldn't be comfortable having a high number of like turnover. It's something that you need to pay attention to.
Exactly.
So Mide, here's this story I heard about. I read about a company in South Africa that had a very high turnover rate, like very high. It was so ridiculous, like 3 resignations per week. Imagine having three. I'm telling you, 3 resignations every week. I'm telling you, it was so ridiculous, but they were able to overcome it. What did they do? They did something so people find so radical, like they listened. It's very simple, but it's something that a lot of people that don't do. They listen and they made a lot of changes. They improved their like management tactics. They trained their managers more. They created like more opportunities for the employees. And guess what? The turnover rate dropped by 60%.
60.
I'm telling you, in just 1 year.
Wow.
So like
obviously listening is a very instrumental technique for reducing your turnover rate. No matter where you are, just listen to your employees.
Because the signs are there.
Show them that you are listening.
Yes.
Even if it's to the most little detail, right? Or the most little thing that you can ever do for your employees, just show them that you are involved, that you are interested. That would actually help and go a long way. And it even builds trust amongst you, because they will feel like the employees will feel like they can trust the manager because they laid down a complaint and they improved that they improved on it. So it will build that trust and it will make them feel like a part of something, and it will make them feel more comfortable. So just very simple. Listen, you have this information at your disposal, like you were mentioning about like exit chats. So when people are exiting, and that's one thing, organizations actually they talk about it, that they want to do exit interviews for their exiting staff, and I'm like, why call it exit interview? Most times when I even do when people reach out to me and tell me, it's time for an exit interview, I'll be like, I always like to call it exit chats. In fact, I would rather even call it a stay chats, because I want it to be more positive. Because there's this thing, the words we say actually affect our psychology rather. So when you say things like stay chat, it actually changes the aura of that conversation, because the person makes the conversation more positive. The person is thinking, they want me to stay, they want to retain me. And that what you just said now, it just reminded me of a situation that I actually experienced. One of my employees in my previous place of work, we had we called it exit interview anyway. So we had that exit interview. The person had already resigned and all. So when we did the interview and we asked the questions, we realized that the issue that this person was having was with the fact that the place that they were currently in, the department they were currently in, it was not a good fit. They were not like getting it. So they felt they were not. So
it felt like the person was like, oh, I just feel stupid because I'm not getting it. Then we discussed and we're like, oh, which other department do you think you can, like, oh, would you like to explore? And the person said, oh, I would like to explore here and I feel like I'm going to do better here. If I tell you that the person is still in that department till today,
can you imagine?
I'm telling you. I just remember, as you mentioned, like that state interview, it's actually true because you don't have to like put it in your mind, okay, exit. Oh, they've already seen me as an outsider, because that exit alone makes them feel like, oh, an outsider already. So you're very correct. I actually agree with you. I'll start calling it stay interview now. Stay chat. Yes. So that's a nice one. Yes. So yeah.
Thank you for staying to the end of this video. Of course, as we discussed, employee turnover is not just about the numbers.
Yeah.
It's about listening to why people are leaving your place of employment, why people are leaving your organization.
Yes.
Because whether you like it or not, it will cost you money. It will cost your employees a depleted morale.
Yes.
It will cost them a whole lot. So pay attention to these things. Ensure that you ask questions during the chats, like you say, exit interviews. Make sure you ask them very important questions, right questions, not just general questions. Confirm why they are leaving. And these are some of the things I actually ask. When people are leaving, I say, what are we doing, that can make this organization better? How was your experience during your employment period? I also ask, what are we not doing that you think we can introduce into the organization?
Yes.
These are key things that can make the conversation, a bit enlightening and insightful for you as a HR practitioner or an employer, right? And even for the employee, because they can start questioning why they are even living in the first place.
That's right. It's true. They can just like, oh, really, why do you want to know?
We believe you enjoyed today's episode.
In fact, we know.
We are very sure. We are very sure that you enjoyed today's episode, and because of that, we'd like you to share, subscribe, and comment on all of our social media platforms.
Yes,
the Expat Explorer. It is actually _Expat Explorer.
Yeah.
So from one explorer to another, would like you to be bold,
be global,
and be you.
Technology.